Today we'll be talking about residential wiring, lab number 4. This lab consists of a receptacle, a 3-way switch, a 4-way switch, a second 3-way switch, 2 lights, a smoke detector, and a dryer receptacle. Our first step is going to be to locate our home run and bring it in to our first receptacle. We're going to come out of this receptacle and come up to our first 3-way switch. All we're doing here is running the power, so we can use a 14.3. Then we can use 14.2. Then we can bring a 14.3 across to our first 4-way switch, come from our 4-way switch to our 3-way switch, also with 14.3. Then from that switch, we're going to feed up to our light with a 14.2, feed from one light to the second light with a 14.2. That leaves us with our smoke detector. Now, we could put that on its own separate circuit, but it's actually recommended that we put that smoke detector on an existing circuit. If something were to happen in that circuit and the breaker were to trip, if it was on a circuit alone or with only all the other smoke detectors, you would never know it until it was too late. But if we were to add that to one of our lighting circuits, then if the breaker were to trip, the lights would go out. We would know that there was a problem and it could be fixed before it became such a problem, before we had an emergency. So we could tie in to this switch box, but I believe we're going to wind up having problems with our box fill there. We're going to run those calculations today, but we're going to come straight from our home run over to our smoke detector, and then all that leaves us with is a home run for our dryer, which is going to get 10.3. We have to have two hot wires for 240 volts, but we also need a neutral for the electronics in the dryer that run off 120 volts. So how is all this going to look once we actually get started? Well, the first thing we're going to do is bring our home run into our first box and tie it to our first receptacle. Our neutral is coming in, also being tied to our receptacle. We're going to come out of this box with our neutral and with our hot and come up to our switch box. We're just going to set this neutral off to the side right now. We don't have to break the neutral for our lighting. All we have to do is break the hot side. So our hot side, our black wire, will come up and tie to the common, the hot screw, the black screw of our 3-way switch. We'll come with the black for our 14.3 cable that are running between these two. We'll come with a tie-in with the black and tie-in with the red, right? Both to the top on both sides, right? This is connected in such a way so that you're going to tie one set of travelers to the top and another set of travelers to the bottom. So we're going to tie our other red to the bottom of this 4-way switch, bring it across, and it's going to come up and it's going to tie to the then we're also going to tie the black wire from this 14.3 into their traveler wire, right? These that are traveling both get attached to the traveling screws. Now our neutral, right, it's just getting tied together with the wire nut in this box. And we're doing the same thing in this box. We're doing the same thing in this box. The neutral is just passing through up to our first light. Now we need to get a hot to that light. So we're gonna the 14.2 that is right here, we're gonna tie the black wire, the hot wire, to the common or hot screw of our second 3-way switch. Make sure that I make that look nice and clear where you guys can see what is going on there. And then we're coming out of this box, pigtailed across to our second lot, and with our neutral the same way to our second lot. Now we have our smoke detector left, right? And so we said we were going to come from this box, right? And so we needed to pigtail off of this neutral, and we're going to come up to our smoke detector. Then with our hot wire, right, we're going to do the same. We're gonna pigtail off and bring it up to our smoke detector. Now, a smoke detector, you don't have only one in a house. You have multiple, and the code requires that all of them be tied together so that they all go off if one goes off. If you have a fire on one side of the house, you want to know about it if you're in a bedroom on the other side of the house. And you don't want for it to be the entire house is engulfed before the smoke detector at your bedroom goes off. You want them to all go off at the same time. So coming out of this smoke detector, we're gonna have a power wire that's going to go to our next smoke detector in the system. We're going to have a neutral go into the next smoke detector in the system, but we need a third wire. So we're going to use 14.3 here so that we can use a red, and this red is actually a common that's going to be attached to all of the smoke detectors. This is a signal wire. Now all that we have left in this circuit is our dryer outlet, which is its own circuit, right? So we're going to have a dryer plug that's going to have two hots, a ground, and a neutral. And so we're going to tie into that with this is going to be 10.3, right? You're going to have an orange cable, right, coming in here. That's a orange Romex is number 10 cable. We're going to tie our black to one hot. We're going to tie our red to the other hot. Right, there'll be screws for each of these, and then we're going to tie our neutral to the L-shaped neutral lug. And then, obviously on all of these we have a ground. We haven't shown the ground on any of them, but on this one, right, our ground would, well, let's make that green so it looks like a ground. It would probably be bare copper here as well, but our ground goes to our ground. And that is what we're going to be putting together today.